Ferrari at breakfast on LBC. Call 0345 6060 973.
It's 9 minutes before 8. Later today, the second meeting of the Build Back Better Business Council will meet. This is a council put together to try and help businesses plan for growth. As part of that, Chancellor Rishi Sunak and Business Secretary Kwasi Kwarteng are urging businesses to get involved, and the latter of that duo joins me now, Business Minister Kwasi Kwarteng. Why should businesses get involved? How do they do it? And what's in it for them? Good morning, Minister.
I think the thing that we're really focused on, Nick, is obviously the Prime Minister's roadmap and hitting those dates. And I think if we can reopen the economy on the 21st of June, we've got a real prospect. Businesses, particularly in this country, have a real prospect of getting back to what they do best, of actually keeping the economy going, employing people, and actually getting back to a normal life. And what we're very keen to do, the Chancellor and the Prime Minister and myself, is to help businesses along that journey, but to do it very safely, and that's why we've got the roadmap.
My apologies, I accidentally demoted you. You're, of course, Business Secretary, not Business Minister. Secretary of State, can I just pick you up on, you said if businesses are able to open in June. Is there still some doubt then about the roadmap or plan?
There isn't at all.
Why did you say if then, Kwasi?
Well, I meant that when businesses reopen on the 21st of June, but that's what we're trying to do. Obviously, as the Prime Minister said, we can't second-guess nature, but all the data we've seen actually suggests, as you've pointed out, Nick, that we're very, very likely we're going to hit those targets and we'll be able to open up on the 21st of June.
And there are many businesses, Secretary of State, that need help, not least those involved in tourism, overseas tourism, people who work for airlines, work at airports. There is a lot of pressure for this traffic light system or vaccine passport. Is there any information you can give us on that, Secretary of State?
Well, all I can say, Nick, on that is what the Prime Minister said, and that we're reviewing all these vaccine issues, vaccine passport clearly internationally. There is some debate about whether we're going to have vaccine passports. But just going back to what our primary focus is, it's on those roadmaps. It's on the roadmap. It's on the dates by which we can open up the economy. And in order to do that, we're looking at the data. We're looking at deaths, which mercifully are going down considerably. We're looking at hospitalization rates, which are also going down. And the infection rate, too, is now much under 1. Which means that there's every chance, there's a really, really good chance that we can be on track and reopen the economy.
OK, and as you rightly say, the most important thing is that the deaths are decreasing, the number of cases is decreasing. Then, as one newspaper says today, the Daily Mail, why do we have to wait another 7 weeks until effective true unlock?
So the issue that we have with that is that if we were to rush and reopen, what would happen is that the disease would spike up again. We went through this last year.
But we've got,
and at the beginning of this
year, we've got the vaccine now, respectfully. You say we went through that last year, Secretary of State. I have to correct you because we didn't have the vaccine then.
But also, Nick, you will know that if we were to rush and reopen, and for whatever reason there was an uptake in coronavirus, we would be blamed for having rushed to reopen. So what we're trying to do now is to have a steady and sure progress to reopening. You'll also know, Nick, that in Europe, they have a third wave. This thing hasn't simply gone away. We've got to manage the process. And that's why the Prime Minister's roadmap was really important. And I'm very convinced that we should stick to it.
Talking about the vaccine, the Novavax, as we heard from the Prime Minister, is going to be made in the northeast. Why is that? Do we have concerns with our European friends in Germany who are due to do the job?
No, I don't think it's a negative issue. I think we're very positive about the manufacturing capabilities in the northeast. I visited Teesside only 2 weeks ago, and there's a huge enthusiasm for manufacturing. There's a huge appetite for economic regeneration and growth. And I think it's fantastic that this vaccine is being manufactured there.
Can I ask you, you'll be aware, and I know you've worked hard in a political sense, and now you'll be aware that actors and others are working in an entertainment sense. As regards black people taking up this vaccine, I'm sure share concerns, the number of people who aren't. You and I know each other well enough. Kwasi, why won't black people get the jab?
I think there's a scepticism. It's not just about black people in Britain. I think there are a number of ethnic communities.
40% of elderly black folk are not getting the jab. That's a very high and concerning figure, Secretary of State.
It is a high and concerning figure. All I'd say about that, Nick, is that when we started, there was a lot more scepticism. I think people like Sir Lenny Henry and others, I noticed Diane Abbott was in a video as well. I've taken part in this, trying to drive the message, a really important message, that people should take the vaccine. Because after all, coronavirus has taken thousands of lives before their time, and it doesn't really discriminate. Lots of people from different races, different backgrounds have been taken away by this disease, and it's absolutely important that everybody should get vaccinated. I think we have had an issue.
But why the initial fear or concern or reluctance? Do you know what it tracks back to, Secretary of State?
I think there's a skepticism about vaccine rollout. I think also people are very proud and they feel that they perhaps don't need to vaccinate. There are all sorts of reasons, psychological reasons, cultural reasons perhaps.
But what might those cultural reasons be? I sense can help me more here.
Well, I'm not a sociologist.
No,
I think there are lots of reasons why people wouldn't take up the vaccine. There might be a skepticism about authority. I don't know. But what I do know is that people should take it up. And what I'm really focused on, not only as Secretary of State for Business, but as a black MP as well, I'm focused on everyone in the community actually taking up the vaccine. And it's not just something to do with race or ethnicity or gender or anything like that. I think all our people have to do their bit and take up the vaccine, because also it's not just about your own health. It's about helping and protecting other people. And that's a message that we need to stress.
Grateful for your time as ever. Sorry about the earlier demotion. You are Secretary of State for Business, Kwasi Kwarteng. Thank you, appearing here on LBC, where at 2 minutes before 9, let's come back to our conversation about the teacher who fears he will never go back to Batley, certainly to teach. John in Wakefield, not that far away, actually. John, you're on the radio. Good morning.
Morning.
Yes. Do you think he can ever go back?
I'm reluctant to kind of appear too insensitive about it, because this is obviously, a man's life.
Indeed.
But you have to look at it realistically, given what's happened in some other situations, and think, maybe there's a right to be scared, I guess. And the main reason I wanted
there's
to call
a right to be scared. Do you mean he is right to be scared, or there is a right?
Yeah. No.
Dead
right.
right. If there are people gathering outside his house.